God says, "Beloved soul, remain still for a moment and listen gently, because not every message arrives with noise. Some messages come quietly, choosing the heart that is ready to listen without fear. What is approaching you is not meant to disrupt your peace. It is meant to clarify something that has been resting in your thoughts for a long time." God says, "There have been questions you did not speak aloud, thoughts you carried privately, and moments when you wondered whether clarity would ever come. Sometimes answers do not arrive immediately because the heart must first become calm enough to receive them without confusion. That calm is forming within you now. Beloved soul, communication is not always about words. Sometimes it is about timing. Sometimes it is about readiness. When the heart is settled, even a simple message can bring understanding that months of thinking could not provide. God says, "You are not being asked to wait in anxiety or expectation. You are being invited to stay present." Presence keeps the mind open and the heart receptive. What approaches you will feel gentle, not overwhelming. It will feel familiar, not alarming. Right now, Archangel Michael stands not as a messenger of urgency, but as a guardian of clarity. He does not rush events forward. He aligns them. He understands that truth arrives best when peace is protected. Beloved soul, you may notice that your awareness is sharper lately. You listen more carefully. You sense when something feels meaningful. This awareness is not coincidence. It is preparation. Preparation does not always mean action. Often, it means receptivity. God says, "What is coming is not meant to surprise you. It is meant to confirm something you already felt deep within." Confirmation does not create shock. It creates relief. It helps scattered thoughts settle into understanding. Beloved soul, notice how calm feels different from anticipation driven by fear. Calm allows you to hear clearly. Calm allows you to respond thoughtfully. This calm is your guide right now. God says, you do not need to chase clarity. You do not need to stay alert or tense. What aligns with your growth will reach you naturally. Alignment respects peace. It does not force attention. Beloved soul, when communication arrives from a place of alignment, it does not confuse. It brings perspective. It may close a question or open a new understanding, but it will not disturb your inner balance. God says, remain open, not alert. Remain grounded, not anxious. What approaches you will meet you gently because you are learning to receive without fear. Beloved soul, allow this moment to remind you that guidance does not pressure. It reassures. It does not threaten. It supports. God says, stay present. Clarity often arrives quietly, and quiet moments are where understanding settles best. God says, beloved soul, clarity does not rush into your life like a storm. It settles like light at dawn, slowly revealing what was already there. As you remain present, you begin to notice how your thoughts organize themselves without effort. Confusion loosens its grip, not because answers are forced, but because your heart has made space for understanding. God says, understanding often arrives after patience has softened resistance. You have waited quietly through moments when nothing seemed to move. In those moments, you were not stagnant. You were preparing. Preparation happens internally long before it shows externally. This inner preparation is why clarity now feels gentle instead of overwhelming. Beloved soul, you may feel a subtle shift in how you interpret situations. You stop assuming the worst. You stop filling silence with fear. You allow meaning to reveal itself in its own time. This allowance reduces mental strain and restores emotional balance. God says, when understanding begins to form, it connects scattered experiences into a coherent story. Things that once felt random start to make sense together. You see how certain delays protected you, how certain detours refined you, and how certain conversations shaped your awareness. This perspective brings relief. Beloved soul, understanding does not require certainty about the future. It requires acceptance of the present. When you accept where you are without judgment, insight becomes accessible. Acceptance opens the door to learning without pressure. God says, understanding also refines how you listen. You become attentive not just to words, but to tone, timing, and alignment. You sense when communication is meaningful and when it is simply noise. This discernment keeps your focus clear. Right now, Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of this forming understanding. He is not accelerating events. He is aligning them. He understands that understanding built calmly becomes a stable guide rather than a fleeting realization. Beloved soul, as understanding grows, your emotional responses soften. You react less and reflect more. You give yourself permission to pause before responding. This pause creates space for wisdom to lead instead of impulse. God says, understanding also strengthens boundaries naturally. You know what conversations to engage in and which ones to release. You choose clarity over conflict. This choice protects your peace without isolating you. Beloved soul, you may notice that your inner dialogue becomes more supportive. Instead of questioning your worth, you question your assumptions. This shift moves you from self-doubt to self-awareness, which is far more empowering. God says, when understanding settles, gratitude emerges quietly. You appreciate insight. You value calm. You recognize how far you have come without needing external validation. This gratitude anchors clarity and keeps your attention grounded. Beloved soul, understanding prepares you for trust. Trust grows when clarity has removed confusion. You no longer feel the need to anticipate every outcome. You trust that what aligns with your growth will unfold when it serves you. God says, remain present with this understanding. You do not need to analyze it. You do not need to act immediately. Let it integrate. Integration makes insight useful and lasting. Beloved soul, clarity has arrived to steady you, not to rush you. Stay open. Stay grounded. Understanding is forming, and it will guide your next steps gently. God says, beloved soul, when understanding has settled gently within you, it begins to transform into trust. This trust is quiet and steady. It does not announce itself or demand certainty. It shows itself in how your heart softens, how your thoughts slow down, and how you stop preparing for disappointment before anything has even happened. God says, trust does not mean you suddenly know what the message will be or when it will arrive. Trust means you are no longer afraid of not knowing. You allow space for life to unfold without tightening your chest or racing your thoughts. This allowance restores ease to your inner world. Beloved soul, you have learned that forcing clarity never brought peace, but patience often did. Trust grows when you remember this truth. You stop filling silence with assumptions. You stop interpreting delays as rejection. You allow timing to serve understanding instead of resisting it. God says, trust also changes how you relate to expectation. You no longer wait tensely. You remain receptive. Receptivity keeps your awareness open without exhausting your energy. From this place, even small communications can feel meaningful and grounding. Beloved soul, as trust deepens, your inner dialogue becomes kinder. The voice that once worried about being overlooked now reassures you gently. You remind yourself that what aligns with your growth will not pass you by unnoticed. This reassurance calms the mind and steadies the heart. God says, trust allows you to release hyperalertness. You stop scanning for signs. You stop checking constantly for confirmation. You understand that clarity does not need to be chased. It meets you naturally when you are present. Beloved soul, trust refines discernment. You sense alignment without overanalyzing details. You feel when something is meaningful without needing proof. This sensing saves energy and preserves peace. Right now, Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of this quiet trust. He is not urging anticipation or restraint. He is reinforcing steadiness. He understands that trust built calmly becomes a reliable guide rather than a fleeting feeling. Beloved soul, trust also brings emotional balance. You still feel curiosity, hope, and even uncertainty, but these emotions no longer control your direction. They pass through you without pulling you off center. This balance allows you to respond thoughtfully when communication arrives. God says, trust reshapes how you experience waiting. Waiting no longer feels empty. It feels intentional. You recognize that presence itself is productive. Presence prepares you to receive clarity without distortion. Beloved soul, patience becomes gentler now. You stop measuring progress by speed. You notice progress through steadiness. This patience reduces frustration and keeps your focus grounded. God says, gratitude begins to surface quietly. You appreciate moments of calm. You recognize how much lighter life feels when trust replaces tension. This gratitude anchors trust and strengthens your sense of alignment. Beloved soul, allow this trust to continue integrating without testing it. You do not need guarantees. It will show itself through calmer decisions, steadier emotions, and a peaceful presence others can feel around you. God says, remain present. Trust is now guiding you gently forward, preparing your heart to receive clarity with ease. God says, beloved soul, when trust has settled gently inside you, it begins to shape calm confidence. This confidence is not loud or performative. It does not rush you forward or push you to prove anything. It shows itself in how you move through your days with ease, how you respond thoughtfully instead of reacting, and how your heart remains steady even when outcomes are not yet visible. God says, calm confidence allows your next steps to feel clear without being forced. You do not need dramatic signs to know what aligns with you. You sense it quietly. When something feels supportive, your body relaxes. When something feels misaligned, your energy withdraws naturally. This sensing is not anxiety. It is wisdom refined through presence. Beloved soul, you may notice that your decision-making has changed. You no longer circle the same questions endlessly. You choose, adjust if needed, and continue forward without self-criticism. This flexibility keeps momentum alive while protecting your peace. God says, calm confidence reshapes how you experience time. You are no longer pressured by it. You understand that clarity arrives when it can be received without confusion. This understanding allows patience to coexist with progress, creating movement that feels sustainable rather than exhausting. Beloved soul, your emotional world feels more harmonious now. Feelings arise and pass without pulling you off center. You acknowledge them without amplifying them. This balance keeps your awareness clear and your heart open. God says, communication becomes more intentional. You listen carefully. You speak with purpose. You share what matters and protect what is private. This discernment reduces misunderstanding and strengthens mutual respect. Right now, Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of this peaceful forward movement. He is not accelerating events or creating urgency. He is protecting alignment. He understands that clarity rooted in calm leads to outcomes that endure. Beloved soul, calm confidence also strengthens boundaries naturally. You no longer need rigid rules to feel safe. You sense when to engage and when to step back. This intuitive adjustment keeps your center firm while allowing compassion to remain. God says, daily life begins to feel coherent. Small routines ground you. Simple moments feel satisfying. You recognize that stability itself is a form of blessing, supporting growth quietly and consistently. Beloved soul, gratitude deepens here. You appreciate steadiness. You acknowledge the clarity you now carry. This gratitude reinforces confidence and keeps your attention present rather than anxious about what is next. God says, the future no longer feels intimidating. It feels open. You approach what comes with curiosity instead of fear, with readiness instead of tension. You trust your ability to adapt, learn, and respond wisely. Beloved soul, this is the integration of everything you have heard. Presence created clarity. Clarity became understanding. Understanding matured into trust. Trust has now settled into calm confidence. From this place, your path unfolds naturally, guided by awareness rather than pressure. God says, remain present in this alignment. You do not need to chase signs or confirmations. Your steadiness is the confirmation. What belongs to you will meet you without struggle. Beloved soul, continue forward gently. Your heart is clear, your steps are grounded, and your life is moving in peace. If this message brought peace and clarity to your heart, type Amen and remain present. There is no rush, only gentle forward movement.